What's up? It's Sunday evening, and it feels weird because there wasn't a game yesterday. By the way, maybe you heard John Summerall got a job today. Wow, incredible!
Yeah,
big story of the day.
Arkansas also hired a new head coach. That's also been out there as well. A lot of news today. Those are the two biggest things.
Yeah, that Arkansas hire was one I'd been waiting on for sure. No, it's what a madhouse of a day, man. One that I don't know that we've quite seen the likes of, to be honest with you. Welcome into the Georgia Show. I am Jake Roos. He is Jake Rowe. And we have a little bit of fun here talking about the Dogs who pulled out a victory against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and a little bit of the Invesco QQQ Gridiron Classic. Jake, how did the folks at Invesco treat you, buddy?
I don't know, man. That game's been bastardized at this point.
Did you get like a little? Did they give you like?
Oh God, no, we didn't get anything. No,
they didn't give you like $1,000 in free life insurance or something. I don't even know what Invesco does, to be honest with you. So
yeah, it ain't. I don't know. I think it's Invesco Field over in Denver.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Well, it was it weird watching that game in that stadium on Friday? And on Friday, I guess there was a lot of weird things about that. Not really.
I mean, it had a typical game in Mercedes-Benz type environment to it. I will say that. Like, I mean, it wasn't lackluster by any stretch. The weather was terrible in terms of how cold and windy it was. So, I don't think that there was a whole lot of hardcore tailgating going on outside. So that environment was there. Plus, we just parked right across the street from the stadium, so there wasn't really a whole lot to walk through. But it was a good time, man. It's a good environment. Georgia clearly, didn't play very well, but at the same time, kind of controlled the game anyway.
Yeah, I think that was sort of the big takeaway, right? Was that Georgia, for what were probably, you could say, many faults in this game, and probably a lot of them which would start with the quarterback position. A little, I don't know what that was about, man. That was one of the.
Somebody said on the board that Gunner's a chronic overeater, and he just still had a belly full from Thanksgiving.
Would you say that was his worst performance of the season?
It was that or Austin P. One or the other. Yeah,
it
was either that or Austin P. in my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, Rusty, what's up?
I thought you was talking about my Thanksgiving performance.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I don't know about y'all. I am 42 for 42 on great Thanksgiving performances. I shine on Thanksgiving Day.
They put your jersey up in the rafters.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody, just incredible longevity for you, boy.
No, it was an interesting Friday in many facets, and like I said, Gunner Stockton, I think probably one of his worst games of the season, pretty easily to say. Rusty, from your perspective, what was it about this game that kind of had Gunner off tilt?
I don't know, man. I was going to go back and watch Georgia Tech today, but I'm currently behind me. I'm watching Alabama. It's 17-14 in the second quarter from September. But
well, Alabama's about to score again.
They're about to score again, right down the field. You know what I mean? Here they are. Just Jake says that they score right here. I forgot Georgia went for it on that fourth down and got a penalty. I don't know. I know Jake. It's probably broke it down three different ways already too, but it just looked like what he was earlier in the year. There were guys open. They played a lot of zone, and that's not something he hasn't faced in a while. Other teams did that, and he started beating teams, and it just looked like to me he was just I don't know. I'm not really concerned about it, but I wonder like what was off and what would he not turn it loose for a couple times? And the elevated view that we have at Mercedes-Benz. It's easier to sit up there and go, that guy was open, that guy's open. You don't have people breathing down your neck, but you still know that he had time there to get it done. Also, man, you listen, you go without your guy. I mean, Drew Bobo's his guy. They've grown up together. They know each other, know all the calls. You start dealing with some of those things too. and just a lot of kind of variables in that game. But somebody mentioned he might have been sick. I saw Gunner after the game. I was standing there waiting for the guys to come out of the media availability. I saw his mom and dad, said, "Hey, how you doing?" I know they were waiting on Gunner. Just kind of stood my distance back, and he walked up, and was there with his family, and kind of just there. Didn't look like to me like he was sick or anything. Somebody said he might have been sick last week. I haven't heard that at all. Is he beat up? Probably is, but he didn't play like he was beat up. He wanted the physicality there, like he was seeking. He was trying to run the ball too much there and took some shots, but don't really know what it was. But I feel like that he'll be fine this weekend and give a performance that we're more accustomed to.
Yeah, you got to hope so, right? I mean, obviously, we all know what's on the line now, which is the SEC title game and the return of Georgia versus Alabama. What round is this? How many times have they done this, Jake?
I don't know how many times they've played total. Let's see. There's
Kirby's 1-7, I think.
Okay, all right, there you go. So this will be the ninth edition of this game.
I think it's about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing too. Did Jake get that number for me? And I'll tell you this: why Jake's calculating there. He's moving his toes and everything else. You think about this, and here you are. You don't debate it now, but in reality, you look at this. Potentially, you have to play 3 games in December now to even get to January. So you got the SEC championship. If you lose this, you're going to play a playoff game. Then you're going to play a quarterfinal. All those games are in December. So you got your work cut out for you. When you start talking about how much this game means, even though it's Georgia, Alabama, and SEC championship, there's a lot on the line because the loser of this game would probably play 3 games in December just to get to January.
Unless the only way Georgia could lose this game. And if BYU were to somehow knock off Texas Tech, Georgia could still get in as like the 4 seed. But that's basically the only way. I mean, that's the only way is they would have to have Texas Tech get knocked off. And I kind of differ from you on that part of it. Like 3 games in a month is not the end of the world. I mean, obviously you would like to have a little bit of extra time. And man, we saw it last year, like that layoff. I know Georgia had a new quarterback and trying to get Gunner in there and they struggled up front, but I don't know, just so many. I know the seeding was off last year. There was just something about the way that those conference champs played after that 3-week layoff that those other teams just seemed more ready to play.
Agreed.
I'm not saying it's everybody wants a little bit of rest. Everybody's got some guys they need to get healed up and all of that stuff. It'll probably be different from year to year, team to team. But I just don't know if that is quite as daunting of a task. Like I said, 3 games in 4 or 5 weeks. I don't know that for some teams, the way they're playing, it might be a little bit of a benefit for it.
I wonder if Kirby, I wonder where he would fall on the idea of, having the momentum kind of keeping rolling versus the layoff. Because, I don't know that it's advantageous really for Georgia. I mean, look, time off to get some nicks and bruises is always better. But the reality is you're not going to get Drew Bobo back with a couple weeks layoff. It's so. I
wouldn't think so.
CJ Allen looked fine, played significantly the other day. It was, talk about a warrior, man. So, it's one of those things where there's probably arguments to be made both ways. And I think that, Georgia, look, the reality is they don't get to pick, so it doesn't really matter. They're going to be playing.
Smart lands on it. That's exactly what Kirby lands on it.
Yeah, exactly.
The comments over here, no way Alabama gets them with 3 losses. I disagree with that. The SEC is going to do everything they can to protect a team that made it to the SEC championship, that went through the schedule they went through. I don't know.
That Texas Tech BYU game comes back into play, though, because if BYU beats Texas Tech, then they're not. I'd have a hard time seeing them drop Texas Tech all the way out like a rock, losing to number 11. And then that's going to – I'm telling you, the committee is rooting for Texas Tech to win that game because then it doesn't get hairy. It doesn't get all weird on them because that if BYU can jump from, what are they in the playoff committee rankings, 11th? Like if they win the conference title, then they jump up, become one of the highest ranked conference champs. Texas Tech's not going to fall further than where Alabama is right now. Then the cutoff line becomes that number 10 spot.
But doesn't there exist a world where if Duke wins the ACC, that the ACC doesn't get a bid?
They would fight.
I don't know.
Miami's going to be right there. I mean, it's going to be from everything I've read. I don't try to get too far in the weeds of this. I personally feel that Alabama with 3 losses is in. And I just think the SEC is going to fight there, because here's what happens. If you have a team that loses in that SEC championship and it costs them to get in this playoff, you got a problem on your hands. And that's what SEC has said the whole time. Those teams, then playoff committee, we're not punishing you for being in those games unless you're Duke and Virginia, or Duke, who's 7-5 playing for the conference championship, which is different. Between Miami, Texas, and Vanderbilt, those are going to be the teams, I think, with the multiple losses, that's going to have every single angle you can fight to scratch a nail to get in. I have not watched BYU enough, but I have watched Texas Tech a couple of times, and I'm telling you now, they've got a pretty damn good team. If you haven't watched Texas Tech, I would be surprised if BYU. Never say never. I'd be surprised if BYU beat Texas Tech.
Oh, I would too, for sure. But
it could happen. It could happen.
I'm going to make a proclamation for you right now. Texas, Vanderbilt, and Miami are done. They are over. It's over for them. Like there's no way. There's no way. They got nothing. They got no more data points to jump over anybody. Their people might as well go ahead and start complaining today about not getting in.
They already are. Two of them already are. Two of them's already got the social media teams putting together.
Of that 3, Texas and Texas deserves to get in over the other 2. Like they
won head-to-head, yeah.
Texas played. I was looking at it today. Texas was ranked number 14 in the AP poll. It had played 4 teams ranked higher than it, and had beaten 3 of them.
Texas played Ohio State up there.
Yeah, that was the one loss. It lost to number 1. It beat Oklahoma. Actually, no, because it didn't beat all of them, because it lost to Georgia too. So it lost to Georgia.
Lost to Florida.
Lost to number 3 and to number 1, but it beat Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It beat Vanderbilt, and there was I feel like there was another.
The bad loss to Florida was
yeah. Well,
same thing with Ole Miss last year. That loss to Florida.
Everybody loses some weird stuff. Ole Miss had also lost to a Kentucky team too.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be interesting, man. This is. I don't know. It's going to be as if the Lane Kiffin thing wasn't really making things weird enough. The conference championship week is sure to make everything even better. And I'm sure everybody's going to take it all very well.
What happened with Kiffin?
Yeah. I don't want to hijack this, but let's just spend 30 seconds on this. I truly believe that Ole Miss and Lane were waiting to see if they got in last night and how that situation would have played out differently today. But once that happened, there was no chance he was going to coach that team. But it would have been interesting had Auburn beat Alabama last night, and you had no time to make any changes, and you hadn't won SEC championship. You're going in that building. It'd have been interesting to see what happened today with that. That could have been another level of madness.
Oh, absolutely.
I wonder what Marty Smith's up to today.
He just interviewed Lane. He got an exclusive. So
Lee Pete, what
he just got an exclusive. So I hadn't watched it yet. I just saw it pop across the screen. But Marty Smith, my man's gonna take a nap tomorrow. I promise you that.
Yeah, he's gonna need a day or 2.
No doubt. Speaking of getting a little rest, hey, it's Modelo season, and it's almost Modelo season in earnest when it comes to the college football playoff. They are the official beer of the college football playoff. Modelo, smooth, light, easy drinking, totally the perfect game day beer. So settle in, get yourself a couple of Modelos for the SEC title game, and root your dogs on, man, with the coldness and freshness and crispness of Modelo. Remember, please drink responsibly. Imported by Crown Imports. All right, gentlemen. Texas over Texas A&M. Were you surprised by this outcome? I will tell you I was. I thought that Texas A&M was the superior team, just based on everything we'd seen to this point in the season, right? I thought that, the game obviously means a lot to them as well, but I really just thought that Texas A&M was the better team to this point, and it kind of threw me on Saturday. It really did, and I really was not anticipating Georgia playing in this SEC championship as a result of that game.
I wasn't surprised that they won the game, but from what I had seen in the first half, boy, I didn't think there was any chance. I thought A&M was about to just kind of, 3 points here, a touchdown there, win something like 20-3, 26 to 25, 24-6 or something like that. But man, I tell you what, Texas caught fire, and listen, Texas is not a playoff team in my opinion. Okay, like the way they played football this year, get your pants beat off by Georgia. Lose to Kentucky. I don't care if you outgained Ohio State or not. You scored one touchdown. You didn't win. Should have lost to, very well could have lost
to Kentucky in overtime. Beat Kentucky in overtime.
Yeah, very well could have lost to Kentucky. Very well should have lost to Mississippi State. Just didn't do it this year. And I think the same thing for, I think Miami's got a little bit of an argument there with the win over Notre Dame, but yeah, not surprised simply because road game for Texas A&M. Also, somebody pointed this out, man. 7 of the teams that Texas A&M got it on its schedule this year in the SEC, I believe, were 500 or worse in the league. 7 of the 8 teams they played were teams that just weren't very good, and they got very lucky in terms of their draw. And the one SEC team it played with a winning record, it lost to. So I can understand why they dropped, 4 full spots, and wouldn't have been surprised if they dropped 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, no, understandably so. I mean, I don't know. It's that one was weird to me. I picked A&M, and I felt good about that, man. I thought their weapons were better, to be honest with you. I thought that their offense had been kind of clicking a little bit better. I thought those wide receivers had really kind of shown up and shown out this year. And so, like I said, I was prepared to ride with the Aggies in that one. So we'll see.
We know Texas A&M is really talented. Does Texas A&M have a Ohio State like run in them or not?
Maybe.
Man, I don't know if they've been tested, to be honest with you. I took Texas. Now, my picks weren't great this week. I think Rouge is going to wind up passing me, but I did take Texas. And I just felt like I wasn't real sure. I kind of know who Texas is. It's at home. It was at night. All the momentum in the world. I just wasn't quite sold on Texas A&M just yet. So they would have to go on Ohio State run for me to do that, and I'm not sure they're quite there yet.
I would agree. I'm really not. To me, this one feels very wide open. Ohio State, I thought, looked pretty good against Michigan. That was a good win for them. But overall, man, this is one of those. I mean, we've been talking about Texas Tech this whole show. I don't really feel like I know anything about them, to be honest with you. I've seen not a lot of them personally, but I know. I mean, they're clicking, so they're doing something right. But to me, this is one of the more intriguing ones. I don't know who's really the front runner, kind of going into this playoff.
I would say Ohio State if somebody knocks them out, and that was an impressive win yesterday. You're defending champs, and you haven't played anybody. I promise you that. You're going to play somebody Saturday. They did play Texas early, but that game was so long ago. They're going to play a really tough football team Saturday. We'll kind of see where they are. They survived a little bit of adversity yesterday, early interception for their quarterback, but they're built like Georgia. They're built like Alabama, and I think if you understand what they look like and where they at, are they battle tested yet? I don't know. Sooner or later they're going to get tested. Will it be Saturday? Very well could be.
Well, they're going to have a hard time blowing Indiana out. I do know that because Kurt Cignetti's just going to run clock from the opening kick like he did last year against Notre Dame. That was the weak move I've ever seen. I'll never forget it.
only wish that we could work in a Drew Aller reference in this show as well. I like that. You want to talk about two guys who have caught so much hate from Jake Rowe this year.
Yeah, Will Levis too. Let's get him in here. No, man, that was such BS. Like, yeah, we beat teams. And not only did we beat them, we beat the piss out of them. And then you come in there against Notre Dame and you're just handing the ball off on first and second down, running the play clock down when you're losing by 2 scores, trying to get out of there and make it look respectable. It was kind of disgusting, to be honest with you. The Italians, like Tony Soprano, would be very upset. Understandably.
Guys, look, if you don't want to be upset, get over to myperfectfranchise.net. It's the spot to go to when you're looking to change up your personal and business life. They've got a number of different opportunities out there in the franchise world. It's not just fast food, man. There are a ton of opportunities out there. They connect you with them. They're the experts, and that is Andy Ludicky and his team at myperfectfranchise.net. So get over there today. Go see how they can help you, get you lined up with a franchise that fits your life and your personal goals and business goals as well. MyPerfectFranchise.net, the place to go to check it out. All right, look, the elephant in the room, in a literal way, a rematch with Alabama in the SEC championship. Was Rusty correct, Jake? Was it 1-7?
Yeah, there's 8. Yeah,
8 games. So the 9th edition of Kirby Smart versus Alabama. And look, the stats are what they are. 1-7 is what it is, man. I mean, so there's a lot of people that are already beginning the hand wringing. Jake Rowe was very kind to them over on the board and was very happy that they were already starting this. But look, I mean, I get it to some degree, right? I mean, I
get it. Like, I know why people feel that way. We just don't have to do it over and over and over.
No, sure. And the constant derailment, right, of the conversation. Because there are aspects of this game. Let me ask you guys this, because, Rusty, you said you're watching that game, the first Alabama game this year. I think we know a lot about Georgia now that we did not know at that time. I think that this Georgia team's a little bit different team than it was at that time. Not maybe even a little bit, maybe a lot different. But what, if anything, do you guys think has changed about this Alabama team? Is there a different spin on this Crimson Tide versus the one that we saw earlier in the year?
I don't think this Alabama team is quite as hot at quarterback as it was the first time around, which I think can be very important. I mean, Ty Simpson is a really good player. I don't have any disrespect for him, but, almost threw a couple picks yesterday against Auburn, got away with it. They got after him a little bit. He threw the ball 30-something times for a little over 100 yards, so that was a little bit of a struggle for them. They have played better defense in November, but they've also played LSU, Oklahoma, Eastern Illinois, and Auburn. 4 teams that are just not very good offensive football teams at all. I mean, actually, 3 of the worst offensive football teams in the SEC. I look at them and, they had the thing is they had a run game going yesterday against Auburn in the first half, and then Jam Miller got hurt. And it doesn't sound like that's too good of a situation for him. The main thing for me, man, is, and this is where kind of the shift happened, Georgia, in those early matchups when Georgia was outmanned and they gave Alabama a run for its money, 2017, 2018, you could even say 2020, Georgia got off to fast starts. Even 2021 and 2023, fast starts. Since Kalen DeBoer's taken over, they've just let Alabama jump all over them both times. Not quite as bad as it was in 2024. That was an absolute bludgeoning out of the gate.
Yeah.
But, 28-0, 14-0. I mean, you got to prevent that. You got to find a way to prevent that. And to me, that's the key to this football game is just finding a way to keep Alabama at bay, or at the very least scoring with them out of the gate and kind of keeping it tight so you're not playing catch up the whole way. And that's something that Georgia's got to do a better job of. And just based on how Georgia and other teams have played Alabama, because Alabama's got this thing under Kalen DeBoer. They build a lead, and then teams tend to get back on top of them. Like they can't tend to get back in it every single time. Auburn did it the other day. Georgia's done it twice. I mean, it's happened, and I think that's something if Georgia can start fast, I think Georgia can kind of play from the pole position a little bit and potentially kind of, take care of this game. I do think Georgia's capable of smacking Alabama around a little bit. Capable. But and I don't really believe in the voodoo and in your head and all that stuff, but I do believe that Alabama does have Georgia's number a little bit. And Georgia's got to be the team that doesn't make that critical mistake and doesn't get off to a slow start. It's not trying to climb out of a hole from the word go.
Rusty, Tony Huff over here says Drew's injury hurts. Let's talk a little bit about that because this is kind of one of the big storylines, and it's going to be throughout this week. Drew Bobo obviously doesn't make it into the second half of the Georgia Tech game. Do we know details? Do we know what kind of where this all sits on Sunday?
I'm not expecting him to play Saturday.
Right, sure.
What they release and what comes out and what the final prognosis is there. And I know Kirby said tonight on the press conference, they're still trying to figure things out. Drew Bobo ain't playing Saturday, and they got to figure it out, okay? And I don't know when and if, and he's going to be back. But listen, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. That's a hell of a loss for Georgia because this kid is he was playing at all SEC level. He makes all the calls, and they're different without him. But you know what? It happens, and that's unfortunate. I went through and looked. I think Georgia's going to play Alabama. They had Kobe Young the first game. They had Jordan Hall the first game, and they had Drew Bobo the first game.
And Kyron Jones.
Had Kyron Jones. Did not have Ernest Green, though, and they really kind of had some issue. When Michael Morris went out in that game, they had to slide Juan Gaston to tackle, and Bo Hughley just wasn't that guy at the time. So just want to say that, it is next man up. They have no other choice. I do think they'll probably go with Malachi Tolliver and see how it is. But, people are like, hey, we got to move this guy, move that guy. It's hard to do center. And, I had a note on the board today, and for you subscribers, kind of know where I am with some of the things I'm going to try to do at the offensive line position. It's a center position too, but they can slide. So they can put some things in there. You know what I mean? And Gunner's going to have to help there too. I mean, Gunner's going to have to help make some of those calls if he can. Some of those protections. It's not an easy position to play, and that's why when you got one, they're freaking invaluable, man. And you hate it for. I said it today. That was the one spot you did not want to have that one, and you took an injury right there. So you got to deal with it. You got to face it head on, and we'll see what Georgia does. I do think they're going to go with Malachi Tolliver. The way Georgia practices, and we've talked about this, everybody that goes watch the Georgia practice are just blown up, especially the outsiders, especially people that are like football scouts and stuff. They're like, oh, my God, man, they practice four teams of players get the same amount of reps most days. So Malachi Tolliver's had a ton of reps. He's had just as many reps as Drew Bobo. He hasn't had the game reps. Got put in a situation Saturday where he got brought in there, and I haven't really watched the tape. I don't know a ton about it yet. Jake, I know, is going to have some stuff on that, but this is a kid out of Cartersville that was highly recruited, had offers to go places. Ultimately went to Georgia. I think he went to Georgia over Georgia Tech, which is kind of ironic. Mm-hmm. He got put in there. So they'll start with him and see where that goes. And it'd be interesting to see if they can get somebody and feel comfortable enough. Just my opinion, I don't know this, but just my opinion, maybe you look at Dontrell Glover and you give him a shot as an emergency guy too. Cortez Smith, I got a note on him on the board today. If you guys are interested on that as well. I think he's 17 years old too. I was sitting there thinking today, I remember watching him start as a ninth grader at Parkview High School. This kid was starting, and he played the entire season, I think, at 13 years old, which was crazy playing center in 7A football. But they got some things there to answer, but don't want to sugarcoat that one, man. Drew Bobo, I think, who was it? The Charlotte coach said it was the best center he had seen in 10 years. Talking about Drew on tape. So just unfortunate, man, at the timing of that one.
Rowe, I know you had a chance to kind of go back and look at some of that already, the Malachi Tolliver tape. What kind of stood out to you? Because there was a lot of sort of consternation right on the board of like this, oh my God, it's all over. It's all falling apart. You and I spoke earlier, and you seem to speak a little bit more highly of him than that.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that he just stepped right in and there was no drop off with from Drew Bobo. There was certainly a drop off, and there were some negatives, and there was some like, he's going to get chewed out about that, and he'll figure that out, pretty quick. What stood out to me was how he's probably like, if you just ranked him on like who was worst to best, he's probably around there about middle of the pack. Like Monroe Freeling wasn't very good. Juan Gaston and Dontrell Glover played like freshmen. Gunnar Stockton was pretty terrible. The tight ends were awful. I don't want Oscar Delp or Lawson Lucky to catch me down on the sideline and ragdoll me on Saturday or anything like that, but they didn't play very well at all. It was very much a team effort to look like crap in the second half for that offense. Everybody pitched in and did their job admirably if it was to look like crap. So I'm not really, I've seen those guys play better, a lot better. I've seen them be a lot better recently. I've seen them be a lot better more consistently. Not small sample size. Say what you want to say about all of it. But I thought Tolliver actually held it together. In fact, if he had went in there and played as poorly as I think the common sentiment is, because I think a lot of people just look at, oh my God, look at these results, look what changed. It had to be him. I think if he actually went in there and played as bad as everybody thought he did, Georgia probably loses that game, or they're really worried about it. I mean, it took a Hail Mary opportunity for them to, for it to even get there. I mean, I don't know if they get a first down in the second half if he was as awful as folks think he was. But at the end of the day, he has gotten a lot of reps. Rusty's right. Now he gets a chance to get into the game plan. Really get into the game plan. They get
from day one,
and then they get a chance to game plan with him and around him. Like, okay, how can we protect him here? How can we give him some help there? What is he comfortable with? What can we take out? What do we put in? Like, all of that stuff can kind of be more tailored to having him there. And another potential silver lining, and I got no idea if this could be true or not, but something that kind of popped in my head when Rusty was talking about some of that falling back on Gunnar is I do think Gunnar has gotten a little hesitant at times and overthinks things a little bit at times. I wonder, honestly, with a little bit more on his plate, would it actually kind of would it kind of just put, in a way, just put him to work? You put him to work, you give him more, bam, bam, bam. It just kind of clicks into place a little bit there for him. I don't know. It could completely hamper him too. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to go one way or the other, but that was something that kind of popped into my head there too, is you've got a quarterback who can handle a lot mentally, and maybe you put a little bit more on his plate just in terms of facilitating, and it kind of helps him block out the noise a little bit there post-snap, because good gracious alive, did he not want to turn that football loose on Saturday. And it happened and as we'll show you in X's and O's tomorrow, when I post that, it started well before the interception, which is hard to do because that interception came on like the sixth play of the game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I kind of like that, actually. I think that's an interesting take, Jake. The idea that it's almost like don't think, just act, right? Yeah. We're putting more on you. You don't have time to process all of this. Just do what you know how to do, right?
And one factor I don't want to get out of here without talking about is we all went into that game expecting Haynes King's going to do this, Haynes King's going to do that. Tech does this well, Tech does that well. Georgia held them to 250 total yards. And wasn't by gimmick. It started from the very first snap of the game. KJ Bolden flies up there, fits in the B gap. Gabe Harris is where he's supposed to be. They throw him for a loss. They busted a coverage on the third play. Still got a stop. Got a couple of 3-and-outs that were huge in that game. Red zone defense was great. Quick change was great. I'm really impressed with the way that defense played on Saturday, especially seeing as how two defenses more talented than that defense had a lot more trouble with Georgia Tech.
Yeah, no doubt.
Georgia ran for 227 in the first game, and that was Chauncey Bowens. I remember that was Chauncey Bowens coming out party. Chauncey Bowens was 12 carries for 119 yards. Dylan Bell had a long 43-yard run. Nate Frazier was 4 carries for 30. They switched it up and spread that thing around. Kobe Young was the leading receiver in that game, so he's not playing. But Georgia held Alabama like 114 yards rushing. Obviously, Georgia can win this football game. I'm not going. I mean, I don't think Georgia can win this football game. Their roster is just as good, and there's no difference in these rosters. It's executing on the day of the game. September has nothing to do with what. Now they're going to take some things away. Sure. When you kick that ball off Saturday, man, it's two grown-ass men football teams, two physical football teams, and Georgia needs to execute and find a way to win a game against this team. And I don't think that's in their head. I really don't. I mean, I just don't. People ask me all the time, what's going on? I'm like, they're just not making plays. It just in those games, for whatever reason, it hasn't happened yet. A couple times, you know, they've lost some heartbreakers, and, you know, you lose this in 24-21. You're right in the, you know, got a lot of momentum in the second half. Took you a while. The heartbreaker last year in Tuscaloosa, another hell of a game. Somebody asked me this, and I won't get too far into it. Somebody asked me this: is Georgia going to do something different? Let me tell you something. Georgia's thrown everything in these Alabama games. Yeah. So the 2023 game, they sit in zone with a spy, and Jalen Milroe had the damn game of his life. Still the best game he ever played. Well, Georgia sat on that all offseason. You know what they did? They came after him in Tuscaloosa, and guess what? It was 28-0. Well, you know what they did? They went back to what they did in the 23 SEC championship game, and it worked this time. They brought pressure. I talked to somebody. They brought pressure against Ty Simpson. They set in the zone against Ty Simpson. He had one of the best games he's ever had, and I promise you, I sat in that building that night in September and go, that dude is an NFL quarterback, and he is. He's thrown for 3,100 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. If you don't get to Ty Simpson, you're not going to win Saturday. When you get to him, Oklahoma 4 sacks, Auburn 3 last night, like Jake said, almost 2 picks. You got to get him off of his game or he will pick you apart. That dude is athletic. He's got a big-time arm. He's smart. But he has shown that if you get to him, you rattle him a little bit. It's another big environment on Saturday, another chance to do it. But it's not as simple as, hey, let's just do what Oklahoma did. Well, it's not that simple. Georgia's thrown everything at them in every game they played. You just got to execute, sometimes make a play here or there. These games have come down to this play, this call, that call. It's been wild, and the odds of Georgia going 1-7 in this series is freaking wild for how close these games have been. And, you know, I expect another close one Saturday. What's the line on this? Y'all saw it yet?
1.5, I believe.
Oh, wow. You know what I mean?
Airtight line. I tell you what they could do differently. For the first time since – for the first time since the 2021, no, I think he did not turn the ball over.
Yeah, somebody said that earlier. They said it would be nice if we could win the turnover battle for once in one of these.
And honestly, don't turn it over in your own territory for once.
Twice.
Because they did it earlier this year. Mm-hmm. They did it last year. In with the weird pick from the Arian Smith, the miscommunication there with Carson Beck. They did it again in 2023. Dylan Bell fumble right there when Carson Beck was trying to flip it to him on the end around. They did it in the national championship game when Stetson fumbled deep. Now they overcame that eventually. Just don't turn the ball in your own territory. If you get a wide open 50-yard touchdown pass, let's secure it, you know, like haul it in, cradle it, run into the end zone, and don't miss a block on 4th down. And Kirby, players not plays. Let's get the right guy in the game to run the short yardage play. And,
Brad Bush here said, don't use Cash Jones on 4th and 1 too.
Well, man, I tell you what,
he got it on Friday. That's all I'm saying.
He did, but when they reviewed that play, and I was like, oh my God, if he doesn't get this.
I was sitting beside the road. I mean, I could see this coming through his soul if they overturned that call.
I popped about 28 gray hairs during that review time, and it was a short review.
Oh man.
Guys, it's going to be a big week. Get over to DawgsHQ. Come hang out with us over on the board. We'll have you covered on all of it. We'll be talking Georgia, Alabama all week. We'll be probably talking about Lane Kiffin some too. That's been the story of the day.
Just a little side note, Roos. It's signing day Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I forget about that.
just a little small note at the bottom of the commercial.
God, that's like so overshadowed by by everything, man. I mean, we're talking about playoff rankings, conference championships, coaching hires.
It's also signing day.
Y'all still haven't told me what happened with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. It's an absolutely insane week, okay? Just to put it mildly.
Yeah, you see my guy there, Brown Guy 342, go Purple Dragons. The second most important game of the whole weekend is my Final Four, Purple Dragons at Worth County Friday night. So
there you go.
It's a big one.
Shane Daniel says, is Jared Curtis signing? Jared Curtis will officially sign on Friday.
Yeah, he's signing Friday.
And that's
probably know where he is, but we've updated that. We will update that all week on DawgsHQ. Talked about it first thing this morning, and listen, it's a great time to be on DawgsHQ. I can tell you that. We got a great deal. Jake, we still got the 50% going?
That's right. 50% off a year-long subscription or a year-long membership to DawgsHQs. Save $60. It's, never been a better time. One thing I want to say about Jared Curtis, he's signing on Friday. That's been the plan for a long time.
I said that today. Yeah.
So don't be like, well, okay, I know what's happening now. It's just been in the works for a long time. So,
well, yeah, I was up there 3 weeks ago. They're playing in the state championship Thursday, and he wants to sign with his teammates. That was the plan from the time he committed, and whenever last time he committed. The plan was for them to do a ceremony. If they made the state championship, they were going to do it on Friday. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to sign his paperwork on Friday with his teammates at Nashville Christian, and I don't blame him there. Get a chance to spend it with his teammates and one last time.
Yeah, absolutely. So probably a good time to come to DawgsHQ. 50% off. You got signing day. You got conference championships. It's going to be an absolutely wild week, and we'll be with you every single step of the way. Get over there. Come hang out with us on the Dog Walk message board. We are there all the time. I know we got DawgsHQ Plus this week, right? We got Dog Talk Live with Rusty this week. We've got signing day on Wednesday. I'm sure we'll be back on here for that. We've got another edition of the Georgia show prior to the game. It's a ridiculous time. Get over, come hang out with us, and if you haven't subscribed here, make sure you do.
Yeah, Richard, quick, don't make that mistake again. Make sure your credit card there is correct, and we appreciate you coming to DawgsHQ. But thanks to everybody. So listen, guys, thank y'all for being here and supporting this YouTube page. I know we do our best with this, and this is something we do. This is like barbershop for us. We come in here and shoot the bull, and you guys like it and love it. And thank you for supporting this, DawgsHQ Plus, Dog Talk Live, everything we've done. But the Georgia show is really our bread and butter. And my mom would not mind. Her favorite two are Jake Roos and Jake Rowe. She's made it clear to me. So, but thank you for all that. But I will tell you, man, people ask me all the time. DawgsHQ. This is a once, and if you're consuming this like Tuesday, I'm sorry if that's not available. But while we're on live right now, the one-time deal that I know we run this once a year is 50% off. Come try it. Come try us for a week. I promise you right now. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I understand it. But come try us for 1 week and get the 50% off. I think you'll like it. Everybody that I know that does that, they're like, why the hell have I not been doing that? You know what I mean? So just give us a try. I promise you'll like it. If it's not for you, you can still hang out with us plenty of time. But thank you all for being here and for being there.
We appreciate you guys tuning in this evening. We'll be back with you later this week. Have a great evening.